Morning, people. What's good? It's your boy Just Joe from the Just Joe Football Show. I've just walked through the door, and it's time for your Leeds versus Southampton post-match chat. You're all doing well. Listen, I'm quite content. Listen, I've seen a lot of takes saying people are disappointed, frustrated, whatever. It's a point at home against Southampton. It's one less game to play. It's good. It's a point towards survival, especially when you consider the majority of our rivals didn't get any points. It's good, man. Before we get into the video, as I say, as always, smash a like, comments, notification bell, and of course hit subscribe as well. Please do. We passed 10k again. Thank you so much for that. I just want to say as well, before I begin, I met someone today all the way over from Ireland, Noel Killian, and say hello to his wife as well. Big supporters of the channel. It was a pleasure to meet you, and your words to me were absolutely beautiful. So, as I say, thank you so much, and I hope you and your wife enjoy the rest of your time in Leeds. Thanks. And hopefully next time I can meet you up as well. So yeah, thanks, Noel. Right. So as I said earlier, happy with the point. I am happy with the point. Jesse Marsh was happy with the point. Ralph was happy with the point. I think we can all be happy with the point. Do you know what I mean? We had the return of Calvin Phillips, Liam Cooper. We had top performances from Adam Forshaw, Rodrigo, another decent showing from Joffy as well. Plenty to be positive about. I'll start first of all with my captain as well. He's a skipper, our captain. He's Leeds through and through. Cooper, we're not the same without you. And that's true, right? Because he came back and was a bit of a colossal. Being in the ground, in the stadium, you get to see just how much he is a leader and how much he commands the defence and keeps everyone on point. Because let's be honest, I was talking about this with my friend Sean. At times Llorente is a bit calamitous, And whenever I see Llorente go for challenges, like we were talking about, it's like, when I watch Van Dijk or whatever, and I know that's a mad comparison, but they never seem to be in bother. With Llorente, he's always on the edge. He always looks like he's in bother. He's always flinging himself or something, you know what I mean? He's not a calming character, whereas Cooper gives us that, And today, just off the bat, Chris, LUFC Data, big shout out. 8 out of 10 aerial duels won, 7 clearances, 4 interceptions. And, I could tell at half-time, I remember looking at half-time, there was a corner coming in. We were getting peppered a bit just before half-time. And we sort of gave the game to Southampton after we went 1-0 up. But Cooper had been everywhere, and his shorts and his socks were all green. Now, I know, listen, I'm a passing merchant. You know that. And I'm like, yeah, get blood on your boots, get your kit muddy or whatever. And I could see that, which shows me that he's been throwing himself about. Do you know what I mean? And look, for me, he organises that side better than any centre-back at our football club. And that's why he's missed. And that's why it's great to have him back. Of course, we got to see KP as well. He added steel. He gave us something when he came on the pitch. You know what I will say as well when he did come on? I've not even done a video on the KP saga because I know he's not going anywhere. He's Leeds through and through, a bit like Cooper. And, that noise, he's not getting that anywhere else. You know what I mean? And what that must have done for him as an individual coming onto that pitch, hearing that crowd roar when he was brought on, it's exceptional. And as I say, it's great to see him back. And the quicker he's starting games, the better. Look, Forshaw alongside him. I know I said pre-game I prefer Click, but Forshaw was standout for me today. I thought he was exceptional. First 20 minutes, he was all over. And he was great today. Again, we played very narrow, and it was, very central, and he just seemed to pop up everywhere at the right situation. Once that ball had popped out, we were working on that counter press. Jesse Marsh is on record as saying it's his best performance from Leeds since he's been in the door in that counter pressing style, and you could see that today. And another top performance from Rodrigo as well. He is really, really, taking his game to the next level under Jesse Marsh. You have to say that. You could argue man of the match. I mean, for me, I'm going to go for my boy Cooper, of course, but Rodrigo was exceptional today. He was everywhere. And look, maybe the shackles of the Bielsa era in terms of what was expected of him have come off, and he can be himself. And Jesse Marsh has really, gave him a bit more of a bigger role within the squad. This leadership role that we speak about and some of us have a little bit of fun with, but it's clearly done something for Rodrigo and his performances on the pitch, because again, he was great today. No, and I touched on it briefly. Another great showing from Joffrey as well. I want him to start, and you're thinking, why hasn't he started? We find out after the fact that he's had COVID, a bit of a false negative or false positive. I don't know. But basically, it meant that he couldn't train for a couple of days. So he'd have probably started, which is a positive, you know, and he came on and there was one moment where he was brought down by, I think, Salisu, and it might have been Kyle Walker-Peters, and he had either of them at either side, and I swear you should have seen the way he walked off, like this, like Vinnie Mac. But that's what we need, because he gives us that bit of grit, that determination, that, you know, I'm here. And yeah, he was great as well when he came on and was involved in some of the late flurry of chances that Leeds United did create. It just wouldn't drop for us in that final 10 minutes. But again, as I said, I'm content with the point. I'm content with the point. Just to pick up on that striker role as well, obviously Dan James was playing there again today, and Dan James full of running offers us, you know, an outlet. For example, we've seen that in the first half. Rodrigo looking to play it over the top to James a lot of the time, and it's quite interesting hearing Jesse speak after the game to say, look, if we could just slow ourselves down just a little bit and find a way to make that last action a little cleaner or crisper, then we'd have more goals. And he said, we'll keep working on it. And straight away, I just think of Dan James. I do really like Dan James, but sometimes his legs are just too fast for his brain. He's running at 100 miles an hour all the time, you know, and there's even maybe a little bit of that on the squad, and maybe that's something that's still being carried over from Bielsa that he's trying to coach out of them. But we are moving at such a rate, like Rodrigo, as soon as he gets the ball, he's trying to pepper it over the top to James. And we do need that little bit of extra technical, you know, ability, a little bit more control up there that Bamford gives us, for example. And Joffrey could certainly offer that as well. So I don't know what that means for Dan James long term in terms of where he starts. Would he start behind, you know, a front two, possibly of Rodrigo and Joffrey, or Bamford and Joffrey? I'm not sure, but it's great to have options, isn't it? Just to think about the first half as well, like I say, we had a goal chalked off, which was, I believe, for a Rodrigo push. It was at the opposite side to me, but I could see the push from the cop. It looked clear as day. That was chalked off. And I made notes throughout the game, and around 25 minutes, I put Rodrigo wants it all the time. He got it off Meslier in the centre of the park, and you could see, like I keep bringing it back though, that extra, I don't know, stuff that's been put on his shoulders from Marsh. It's really took his game to a next level. And then not long after that, obviously, Leeds United take the lead. A goal from Jack Harrison, who, you know, was okay today. The goal looked a little bit scrappy from where it was, and I think it's maybe a prelude of what's to expect from Jesse Marsh in terms of we're putting it into dangerous areas, you know, and looking for knockdowns. You know, we like to play the balls in that counter-pressing style. A ball's coming from Rafinha, get great work from him to get it out. I thought he'd maybe overrun it, but we've seen before he can take it right to the byline and manage to get it across, as we've seen against Norwich for Joffrey's goal. He gets it across. I think Forster gets a hand to it, falls to Harrison. He sort of just wants to put his foot on it, and it manages to go in the back of the net, and we're 1-0 up. And, you know, I did say if we get to half-time at 1-0, we win the game. I was confident of that. Obviously, it didn't prove to be the case. What I will say, big shout-out to Meslier as well. Like, he made a save. I think it was about 35 minutes from Shea Adams. Unbelievable. Like, in real time, maybe the replays don't do it justice, but I was like, how has he saved that? Some great work from James Walls into Shea Adams. He manages to dummy and get it onto his opposing foot. And yeah, Melier's had to shift his body, but it was a great save. And then I think Llorente puts it out for a corner. We were quite under the cosh at that point. But great save from Meslier. Wasn't an awesome afternoon for Meslier. The reason I say that is because we need to really now start talking about his kicking. It's really impacting us quite a lot, actually. It's costing us, you know, ball retention. It's costing us territory, you know, and we're finding ourselves straight away under the cosh. And, you know, the second half comes around and, you know, Southampton really did start to take control, you know, and in the lead up to their goal as well, I believe, you know, it was a poor kick prior to Kyle Walker-Peters actually getting the run on us. And look, I'll say as well, and again, you don't see this on the replays, but Kyle Walker-Peters did great to get into the position he found himself in for the free kick to be, you know, given. But there were so many white bodies around him that I don't feel that a foul was needed to be made. I think there was about 4 white shirts around him at the time. Of course, he's going to look for any sort of contact, but he was going nowhere, really. He had done well to progress it up to that point. And I will say, Kyle Walker-Peters, for me, in that, especially in the early parts of the second half, battered us down that left-hand side. But a lot of that as well is due to the Jesse Marsch system. Us being so narrow, and we are so susceptible to the switch every time. When we are playing like that, and as we know, Marsch is on record as saying, we don't need to worry about that, and maybe Ralph is aware of that, and you could see that switch because, as I say, in the second half, Kyle Walker-Peters was free all day, and he did cause us problems. And look, he was brought down, and James Ward-Prowse, cheat code, unbelievable technique and free kick taker. And before it even went in, me and my friends, we said, they're scoring here. They're scoring here. It looked in the ground that maybe Meslier showed too much of it, and maybe one more step over to the right, he saves it. But look, I'm probably doing him a disservice. James Ward-Prowse is an unbelievable technician when it comes to free kick, and it was a fantastic free kick on the replay, right in the top corner, and 1-1, and probably deserves. As I say, 1-1, I think is a fair result. It was a bit like basketball. I think Ralph said it was like ping pong at times, and he expected that. I think we all expected that with the sides going in. But keep coming back to it. One more point on the board, one less game to play. I think we're going to be all right. I know we're going to be all right. And look, the gap now stands at 8 points, and that's a healthy gap over the bottom three. And that's now Jesse Marsch's first 5 games in charge of Leeds United done, and it's been a success thus far. It's been a success thus far, and he's doing well. He's doing well, and I'm happy, and I'm content. As I say, I'm content with where we're at right now. And we'll push on, we'll push on hopefully next season. But just to bring it back to the game and the second half, and a few things I want to touch on. Of course, Joffrey comes on, and there's a shout for a penalty, and there'll be a lot of Leeds fans fuming. I know in the ground at the time, especially the time when it was, I thought it looked like a stone wall. I've seen replays where it looks like a stone wall, but I think he gets a touch on it that takes it away from Joffrey's path. I do think the ref sort of bottled it, because if he makes a decision and it's not clear and obvious, which it wouldn't have been, we'd have been given the penalty. So he's thinking, right, the context of the game, what time we are, I'm not going to give it, because if I am wrong, they'll give it. Do you know what I mean? If it's that much of a stonewaller kind of thing. But had he given it, probably wouldn't have been overturned. Question marks over bar. We don't know whether we're coming or going, but look, it wasn't given. It is what it is. I think we were all thinking that Leeds United were going to get something in that second half, for sure. I think we were thinking we can win this. Keep coming back to it, repeating myself. I know I sometimes do that quite a lot, but 1-0's a fair result, and I'm happy. I'm happy. I just think we're a bit unfortunate. As I say, both sides will be happy, but we had chances towards the end. It just wouldn't drop. There was a block made from Salisu. I think Joffrey was trying to get through, or a ball had been played through Rodrigo. We're talking inches, managed to get his foot on it. Plenty, hella cutbacks at times where we kept getting down that right-hand side. Rafinha being involved, trying to cut it back. Joffrey, and there was even at one point where a ball gets played across, and Forster makes a vital touch. It went out for a corner. Had he have not made that touch, then Ayling's waiting to just put it in at the back post. So, both sides could probably say we could have won it, but ultimately, look, points. Southampton are a good side. We're a good side, and it's an indication of where we're at currently now. I don't, had Jesse maybe coming sooner or whatever. I just think where we're at currently now is like a Southampton level, that mid-table kind of vibe. And the fact that we've won 2 and now picked up a point, 7 points in the last 3, that's huge for a team that was really struggling, couldn't get wins, couldn't get points. Was sort of in free fall a little bit. Everyone was saying they're going to get relegated if they're not careful. I still believe we'd have stayed up, that. But, I think now, and the fact that people are disappointed, that's why I'm like, well, let's have a little bit of perspective. Why are you disappointed? We've got 7 points from 3 games. That is massive. And, get something against Watford and we go again. I think Watford are actually tough. It will be tough, but listen, I'm happy. I'm content. Thank you as always for watching this video. Make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, comments, notification bell, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace out now. Leeds.